All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to day 3 of our Emergency Response Program webinars. If you haven't yet responded to the poll, we would love for everyone to respond there and just answer those 3 quick yes or no questions for us. As a reminder, we are here to support all small businesses, and that includes one-on-one consultation and support. So if that's something that you need help with, I've been sending out the link to sign up to meet with us one-on-one every day this week. But if you're having any trouble getting signed up there or need help, please just let us know. Send me an email or send Cole an email, and we will be happy to get you signed up. Hey Cole, I'm having trouble changing the slides. Can you go back to the partner slide? Thanks. So as always, we want to say thank you to our partners, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, Gutwein Law, M Accounting, and the Weber Co. Thanks to everybody who's supporting this program. We are super thankful for everybody's support. Okay, as our daily reminders, if you have a question, you can ask your question by submitting it in the Q&A box. You just type in your question to send it to us. We will do our best to answer everybody's questions, but if you are unable to get your question through that, then you can send an email directly to cole@generator.com during the webinar with your question. If we are unable to answer any questions during this, we will do our best to answer those one-on-one to everybody that asks them. If you are having any technical difficulties or technology issues, unfortunately, due to the number of participants, we are not able to address technological issues one-on-one. But you are always welcome to reach out to Zoom directly for technical support. We will also be recording the webinar and share it with everybody. So if you are having any trouble with that, you can listen to the webinar recording, which I will send out to you after our session today. Okay, so without further ado, I want to introduce Courtney Ritchie, who is a representative or regional director from the Indiana Small Business Development Centers, and she will be talking with you all today. Okay, Courtney, we'll set it up so you can share your screen now.
All right, so good morning. Hopefully everybody can see my slides up on the screen here. I first wanted to start off, I want to make sure I saw on the poll that we were asking if you're familiar with the ISBDC. I did want to take a couple of minutes to just explain what the Indiana Small Business Development Center does if you're not familiar. So our program is actually funded by the Small Business Administration federally, and locally we are hosted by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, and we work every day with small businesses, those that are just getting started and those that have been in business for a long time and are looking for ways to strategize and grow their business. We do everything from sales forecasting to help with marketing. And now, we're kind of switching gears and helping with disaster relief. So we help Indiana businesses on the best of days and on the worst of days. So we are here for you throughout this time, and when things get better, we're going to be here for you then as well. So if you have not engaged with your local Small Business Development Center, there is a local office that serves every county in Indiana. You can go to isbdc.org, and there is a locations tab, and you can look it up by county and get involved with your local Small Business Development Center. That's probably going to be the best thing to do in this time, as information is changing daily, new programs that are available. Being involved with a counselor is going to be the best way to get that up-to-date information. That being said, one of the things that we have put together through the Small Business Development Center is we are trying to collect all different funding resources. So whether it be loan programs, industry-based funding programs, deferral programs offered by companies like utility companies, we have started to combine all of that in an Excel document. The link is here. So when you get these slides, you can go to that link It does automatically update. So as new things are added, you're going to be able to see that. So that's something you can bookmark and kind of check on, a daily basis to see if anything is new. In addition to that, we're all adding that from the Small Business Development Center perspective, but we're in this together. So if you know of a resource that maybe we haven't seen, you can email my office specialist. Her name's Megan Moat, and that email is mmoats@isbdc.org, and she'll get that put in there. I mean, I think from what I've seen with all of our referral partners and our clients, everybody is here trying to make sure that we weather this storm. So please, if you know of something that we just haven't seen yet, please let us know, or see a generator, and we will get that added so that other people are aware of that resource. So please make sure you click on this once you get this link. I have, in this presentation, I've chosen to highlight a couple of different things that we've seen as possible funding sources, but there are quite a few more in this document. So the first thing I wanted to say before we get started, obviously there are funding resources that are out there. The first thing that we're really recommending that small business owners do is call their creditors. So if you are having an issue, if you're worried about your mortgage this month, if you're worried about vendor payments this month, your credit cards this month, whatever it is, pick up the phone and have that conversation. We've seen quite a few businesses be able to reduce their services, like trash services, for instance. Here in our local community, we had a couple of people that were like, we're not going to have a lot of trash services because we're not open. They called and were able to reduce the number of pickups, which then saved them money in the end. That's a small step, but anything at this point to kind of help reduce your expenses overall is going to help. We also don't want, some of these funding opportunities aren't necessarily cash in the bank, tomorrow. And I know many business owners have been impacted and are already starting to feel this. So we don't want any of our business owners to get in a situation where they're missing payments, that they're delinquent. So I would just really encourage, if you haven't, please reach out to whoever you're worried about, whether it be your mortgage or utilities. Reach out, see what programs they've had. I had a client that actually was able to negotiate 0% interest on their credit card. They were able to make their payment, but they said, hey, we don't know what this is looking like. Are you willing to do, 2 to 3 months of 0%? And their creditor was willing to do that. So if you have the time, it might be worthwhile to reach out and see what you're able to accomplish under the approach. So what I wanted to first start off with, if you've been following this series, Marty was on Monday, gave a great update about the economic injury disaster loans that are provided by the SBA. I wanted to take a couple of minutes, in case somebody wasn't on the call on Monday, to just go over this program, as well as tell you about a couple of dates. So the EIDL loan is for small businesses and private nonprofit organizations, does include sole proprietors and independent contractors. These loans do go up to $2 million and can be used for fixed debts, payroll, accounts payable, and other bills that you're worried about because of this disaster's impact. One of the important things to note about this loan is that the term can be up to 30 years. You're going to be able to work that out with your loan officer at the time, and that it is a fixed rate of 3.75% for small businesses and 2.75% for nonprofits, and it's fixed rate. Also, payments, the deferral has increased since the original announcement of this loan. So you actually will have a deferred payment for 12 months. So if you get approved for one of these loans, you will not have to make a payment for a year. One of the big changes is the application process. So I have a screenshot here just to show you. There are only 4 tabs here. This will take you 10 to 15 minutes tops. So if you have not yet applied and you're thinking, I'm okay right now, but if this goes on any longer, I may need assistance, we are strongly encouraging you to go ahead and apply. By applying, you are not agreeing that you're going to accept any type of financial assistance or a loan. And given that, that these loans are available to every state, turnaround time is not necessarily the quickest. So we want to make sure that you have your application in there and are in the system if you do end up needing that loan. So the new application, it really, the very first page has a couple disclosures. You say what type of business you are. Then the business information tab, it just asks for what your revenue was for the 12 months prior to the disaster and your cost of goods sold. And really everything other than that is just what type of business you are. Then obviously the business owner information, that is just your personal information. It does not ask you for like a financial statement at the given time. And then the additional information tab is just, again, some questions that it's asking of you. So there really is no document uploads in the new streamlined application. If you apply early on, you had to upload all of those documents in the beginning. You will still need that documentation, but it's going to come after you've submitted this. So again, if you've been holding off, really recommend that you go ahead and get that submitted. On the additional information tab, this is the biggest change. The SBA announced that they are going to do a cash advance. You could be approved for that up to $10,000. In that additional information tab, you actually go ahead and put in your checking account information because they want to go ahead and get that to you as quickly as possible if you're approved for that. And you could get it as soon as 3 days after a successful submission. So there's really, again, no downfall of going ahead and getting that filled out, being in the queue, and basically being able to maybe get that cash advance, because they have provided guidance that cash advance will not have to be paid back. It is almost like a mini grant, but that is not. Some people have had questions thinking that they can apply just for that $1,000 cash advance as a grant, and that is not the case. You do have to apply for the EIDL loan to be eligible for that $10,000 advance that does not have to be paid back. So again, the new link is here. We have been told that if you applied before the new streamlined application, you should be getting an email asking if you want to be considered for the cash advance. So it's not like you missed out if you were one of the early ones to apply. But we did want to make sure that you knew that was a new option if you had not applied up to this point. So this just covers, again, that loan advance. So if you did have questions about that, there's a little bit more information there for you. There's also, for those of you that maybe have already applied for the EIDL and are waiting for an answer, the SBA has approved a bridge loan, an express bridge loan. What this is actually, you have to do this with your lender. So this is not anything that you can do on the SBA website. If you go to your local bank who you already bank with, or you can go to SBA.gov and you can get a list of what's considered 7A lenders. And they have been given authority to make quick loans up to $25,000. These loans are meant to be repaid by your EIDL loan. So the idea is, this is more, again, like kind of like a cash advance. You know, you're going to go to your local lender, get access to the $25,000, but then once you're approved for the EIDL, you would repay that $25,000. The SBA, completely understanding how many applications they are going to be getting in need of assistance, is working with their lenders to try and get cash in the hands of our local business owners as quick as possible. So if that's been a concern for you and you did not know about the Express Bridge Loan Program, please call your lender or find an SBA lender in your area and reach out to them and ask about this, because it's supposed to be very minimal documentation and a fast turnaround time. So you might have a better chance of getting that quick cash if you're needing that for your business operations currently. So the Paycheck Protection Program is probably what, if you've been watching the news, this is probably what you have a lot of questions about. We did just get guidance on this yesterday, so I'm going to do my best to give you the information and answer any questions that you have, but we might have to defer some questions since we're still digesting all of the information. The Payroll Protection Program is designed very specifically to keep employees employed at this given time. So it is meant to cover payroll, including payroll benefits, for up to 8 weeks in your establishment. That is actually going to be forgiven. So again, this loan is not, even though it's backed by the SBA, it actually has 100% backing by the SBA to the lender. But this loan, you are going to have to apply with your lender. So right now, the only loan available that you're applying actually directly with the SBA is the EIDL. The other programs are through your lender. And when I say your lender, I understand that maybe you haven't had debt in the past, but you can, again, go to SBA.gov and find what's considered 7A lenders in your community that you can go to and request the Paycheck Protection loan. So these loans, they are actually at even a lower percentage. They're at 0.50% as a fixed rate. They will be deferred for 6 months, but they are due back within 2 years. But when I say that, if you go through the program correctly, you will owe nothing. You are able to get your payroll for 8 weeks, as well as a portion of your rent, the interest on your mortgage, and utilities. So what you are needing to do right now, if you are interested in this, the president signed this into action, I believe it's on Monday, and banks are going to start giving these loans out or taking application for these loans on Friday, April the 3rd. Small businesses and nonprofits can apply April the 3rd. I believe it's April the 10th that then sole proprietors and independent contractors can apply for this loan. So what you need to do right now is, I've got some bullet points here of what you're going to need to be able to show. With these loans, they are specifically looking at your payroll. So you are going to have to be able to show what your payroll was, an average of your payroll for the entire year of 2019 if you were in operation in 2019. So they're going to take an average of the payroll and the approved payroll expenses, and they'll take it for a month, and they'll take that times 2.5 to be able to cover 2 months of payroll. And then that 0.5 is to be able to give you those additional funds to cover rent, utilities, and the interest on your mortgage. So what I would do right now, if you think you're going to apply for this loan, is to start gathering this documentation. In addition to this documentation, there is an application that you are going to have to fill out as well. Your lender might have some other things to fill out as well, but the form that's required by the SBA is actually already on the SBA's website under the Payroll Protection Program. So you can, as of right now, get that filled, look at it, make sure you have the answers to those questions, start getting the documents from your accountant or whoever you need to be able to apply for this loan. This loan is available up until June 30th, but unlike the EIDL, this loan does have a cap. It's a large cap, but we do think that there's going to be high participation with this loan, so we highly recommend that you apply early for this. And again, this application will be with your lender. You can apply for both. So even if you've already filled out your EIDL application, and you see this, obviously it seems more advantageous because it's forgivable, you can apply both. This is meant more as a short term. Again, it's 8 weeks. It's meant to be, let's keep our employees paid right now if we haven't had to lay them off, or you can actually bring back employees. So if you have laid off due to the circumstances, if you bring those individuals back because of the Paycheck Protection Program, you do still qualify. So this is meant to be more short term, whereas the EIDL is there to protect you and provide you capital for the long term of anything you feel like you're going to need because of this disaster. The only thing that you're going to have to be really careful for is the loan proceeds cannot be used for both. So you can't, if you approve for the EIDL tomorrow and got those funds, you couldn't use them for your rent for June and then use the Paycheck Protection Program forgiveness for your June rent. So you've just got to be careful and make sure that the funds are being used separately. You would be able to, use the funds from the EIDL to pay your mortgage or your rent for August. But you would just have to watch that, how those funds are coming in and how you're paying that. You can get both loans to help you when you're within your business. Okay, I'll wait for questions on this. This is the
We have some
majority.
questions that have.
Okay, let's just pause. Okay.
Yeah, so are contributions by employees to a 403B or Roth fund included in the payroll calculations?
Yes, so you do have, I actually got this morning from a lender. They are taking in an account retirement plan. So you will have to show documentation of what you put into the retirement plan.
Awesome. And then does rent include payments for equipment leases like computers, copiers, etc., in addition to office space?
From what I have seen, no. It is just your physical rent. That could, I'm not going to say it's an absolute no, but how I'm reading the current information, it is just the rent of your facility. The other thing to keep in mind is your expenses that are forgivable outside of payroll can only be 25% of your loan. So really by the time, unless you have a huge amount of payroll, probably that 25% is really only going to cover your rent and utilities. There's not going to be a lot of room to cover some of that equipment lease. So I don't want to know for sure, but from how I'm reading it, that is not something that be included.
Okay, and then 2 people have asked if an employee has already applied for unemployment or is already receiving unemployment. Can you hire them back and then be eligible?
Yes, you can hire them back. I mean, that would be a decision, your employee, obviously they will lose unemployment benefits when you bring them back. And this is only for 8 weeks. But if you do, for the forgiveness, you do have to, there are caveats for how long you have to then keep your employees on payroll after the fact. You have to retain them. So I would say that you need to make sure that you're very clear on how long you have to retain the employees for the forgiveness to be in effect. I do not believe if you hire them back, have them for 8 weeks, and then lay them off again after that, that I believe you would then have to repay that loan back from how I'm reading it. So you may have to strategize on if the payroll protection program is something that's going to allow you to bring back your staff.
Okay, and then are you eligible if you have laid off some of your employees but still have other existing employees?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if they're planning on bringing the existing and the ones laid off back, but you should be eligible for those that are still on payroll.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I applied for the EIDL using the streamlined online system and checked the box that I was interested in the advance. I received a confirmation number and immediately received an email acknowledging that I applied. The email provided a link to go back to the online system to apply for the advance. Is this a separate application?
Well, they might be asking for additional information. So the way they've streamlined the application, it doesn't ask you for how much you're needing, why you need the advance. So if it is asking for additional information, I would absolutely go back in. Again, wanted to streamline it so that as many people that wanted to apply for the loan, they weren't getting held up with documentation. They at least got their information into the SBA. So I'm assuming the document that you got, the link that you got, is then asking you, what do you need the advance for? How much do you need? Because it's up to $10,000. It's not just a guaranteed, $10,000. So they're probably requesting additional information to see how much you actually do need as an advance. So you are going to, I don't want anybody to think that new streamlined application is just like so super simple and, everybody's just getting money. They are just streamlining it so that names got in the queue, but then the loan officers, you should be receiving links asking you for that additional information, and you do need to be as timely as possible in providing that to get your application or the advance through.
Okay, then we'll do one more question and then we'll keep going. So how do contractors fit in here? Is this only for traditional employees?
Okay, so I'm going to be hesitant when I answer this because I am seeking additional verbiage on that. Contractors are going to be eligible. It looks like, in what I've seen as far as what lenders are asking for, they are letting you go back to your 2019 tax return and take an average of wages paid to independent contractors and self-employed, of wages that you were have you taken as the owner. So they are eligible. Exactly how it works, I do not have clear guidance on that. Again, all of this just came out yesterday, but I would be collecting that information if you're going to apply for this loan, because you should be able to get part of that as part of the PPP loan.
Okay, great. We'll let you keep going.
Okay. All right. So this program here is going to, I think, be very interesting and worthwhile. It is something that we, again, don't have absolute clear guidance on exactly how it's working yet as part of the CARES Act. And just so you know, once things like this are involved in legislation, they typically do have about 14 days for agencies to actually come out and say exactly how it's going to be implemented. So I know as a business owner, it can be frustrating sometimes to see these programs and want to immediately figure out how it works for them and then not necessarily have the answers. I feel your frustration on that, but it all will come in time. This SBA Relief Program is to help service debt that you already have with the SBA. So when you were getting business up and going, if you had an SBA backed loan for your building or for your equipment, if you had a 504 loan, I know many businesses out there use the SBA as backing when they were getting started. There is going to be SBA relief for your loan. What isn't 100% clear is it says in the verbiage that's on the SBA's website, it does say that they are going to pay the principal and interest for these loans for 6 months. I've seen other verbiage that looks like it's just interest, so I'm just not 100% sure. But what I can tell you is you are not going to have to do anything to get this benefit. This is going to be a widespread benefit to all SBA loans that fit within the category of the 7A, the 504, the micro loans. And whatever benefit that you get will not have to be repaid. We're just still waiting on some clarity on if it is actually going to be used to pay down your principal, or if it's going to be more of a deferment with no penalties and no interest for 6 months. But do know that if you have existing SBA loans, there is a relief program coming that's going to help you for 6 months that you will not have to make your payment. Again, the only thing I'm not clear on is if it will be down on your principal or not. But you can plan for, once this goes into effect, that of not having to make payments for 6 months on your SBA loans that exist, if you're not able to do so. And again, you do not have to fill out any kind of application. The announcement will go out and it'll be clear on exactly what that benefit is to you. Marty said, and I'll echo, on Monday, the best thing to do right now, if you haven't subscribed to SBA updates, please do. If you go to sba.gov, down at the bottom, there's an email sign up. That is the absolute best thing you can do right now, because as soon as the language is in place on how these programs are going to work, they send it out, and all the documentation we've gotten has been very clear once that is in place. So please sign up for that. And again, just be on your radar. And it is not in effect yet. So if you do have mortgages that do plan on paying them right now until we get this, until you see that this is absolutely in effect. Or if you're having issues, do call your lender and ask them what you can do for this month or next month until you see exactly how this relief program is working. But do watch for additional information on the SBA Relief Program. Okay, so that is just a little bit of an update on SBA guidance. We
Can I
do have
ask
a
you
couple.
a couple more
Yep.
questions really quick?
Sure. Yeah. Let's go for it.
Okay. How would, sorry, do employees need to actually be working to have the PPP cover payroll? For example, if an establishment is closed, like a food establishment, so they don't have any work to be done, but they would still be paying those employees, would that be covered?
From what I'm reading, yes, if you have them on payroll, it is going to be covered. Again, this is meant to keep workers working. I get what you're saying though. I mean, if they're not actually, in the establishment, but they're wanting to keep employees on payroll, obviously for the economy. I would go back to what I was saying earlier though. If you bring them back for, even if you are eligible, and again, from what I'm reading, they would be eligible if you brought them back. I've not seen anything that says you have to show that by bringing your employees back, you're able to uptick on revenue or anything like that. But again, you have to retain them to get the forgiveness. So it may not be worth it in the end if you bring back employees for 8 weeks, and then at the end of that 8 weeks, we're still in a situation where you are not able to be open and have that revenue in to sustain the employees. You may end up not being able to have that loan forgiven. So to answer the question again, I'm not seeing any guidance that says that they have to be fully operational and working or in the establishment for you to be eligible, but you do need to strategize for the long term of your business.
And do you know the specified amount of time that we need to retain our employees?
I'm looking right here. If you want to ask me the next question, I'm looking here to see if it says the exact time. And what I'm looking at in trying to answer this question is all on the SBA site. So if you go to sba.gov under the payroll protection, they do have a really nice FAQ for you to look at. I'll send that information. I'm trying to look on here to see if there's an actual guidance on that, and I'm not seeing it right here.
Yeah, that's totally fine. How would we handle a payroll report if an individual has voluntarily decided not to work and is taking unpaid leave?
For it to not go against your level of payroll, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That I would have to get back to you on that. I'm sorry, I don't know that answer.
Okay. Okay, that's all for now.
Okay. Let me just make a quick note and Chelsea, on the ones that we need to get back on, are you just collecting their email address or?
We have the names of folks. Some people
Okay.
are logged in anonymously, but we'll do our best to follow up with everyone.
Okay. All right, let me just make a quick note. Because I actually have had other clients that do have employees that have volunteered to not work. Okay. All right, so a couple of other just quick programs. Again, on that financial sheet, there are other banks that have done some type of kind of quick turnaround loan, and you can see those on that Excel sheet that was on the first slide. I just chose to talk about the bankable quick bridge loan because we are partners with Bankable. They also do get part of their funding from the SBA. So they do have actually 2 programs now. They have a quick bridge loan that's up to $50,000. Fees are waived. They do have a fixed interest rate of 8%. They have kind of altered their application process to make this quicker for businesses to get access to capital. They did just announce a reboot program that's going to be up, I believe, $200,000. You cannot yet apply for that, but they do have a form that you can fill out saying that you're interested to apply for that loan. This is not necessarily an SBA loan, so there is no forgiveness. Anything like that is a bank that has stepped up to provide quick and easy capital if your business needs it. So this is just one example that you can look at, but please, visit that financial resource guide to see some other banks that have stepped up and are also doing kind of quick access to capital loans. So I wanted to put in just a couple of more like grant programs. Maybe people have seen, maybe they haven't. Facebook is going to be offering $100 million in cash grants and ad credits for small businesses. As of when I put this together, it is not yet up and live on exactly what they're going to be doing, but they do have a sign up. So I would recommend that you go to this website and put your email in so that as soon as they do have this grant program live, that you get that information. And even if it's not cash, even if it is ad credits, obviously, as soon as we're able to kind of get back in the market, advertising is going to be super important. So I definitely think businesses can benefit from this. So please go in and subscribe to their email updates. In addition, GoFundMe has partnered with Yelp and Intuit to do a $500 matching grant on GoFundMe for restaurants and I believe retail as well. If you had a listing on Yelp, you may already have a GoFundMe set up. So they did go through their Yelp listings and automatically create some GoFundMes for the businesses. So you can go and claim that if it is already established for you. If it isn't, you can establish one on your own. And as long as you get the $500 in outside nations, you can then apply for the matching grant of $500. From the first part of what I looked at, it looked like it was just restaurants and retail, but I do believe that they're looking at other businesses to add into that. So please just that link there is hyperlinked when you get these slides. If this is something that you're interested in, please go check that out and see if it's eligible for you. This is specific to the food and beverage industry. So if we do have anybody on the call that it fits in this, this again is a private foundation that sought out funding and is doing micro grants. The ones that I'm thinking about right now, I really can't answer questions on. We're just kind of putting these resources together and putting them out to you if you have not seen these yet. So again, you can click on this, see if you are eligible, and they have the application there. And this one is already live. It just went live yesterday. So if you fit in this, I would recommend getting on there as soon as possible. Also the Professional Beauty Association. So if you are a licensed barber, nail tech, esthetician, you are eligible for this as well. They will give out grants as they have the donations available. So again, this is one that if you fall in this category or if you know anybody that does, you should send this out to them and get them to apply as soon as possible. This is, again, it's $500. This meant, a lot of nail techs and cosmetologists are more independent contractors and don't fully eligible for a lot of the things that are out there. So it's really meant more for their personal needs like food and their own personal bills. But it's a great way to have some funding come in. The application is pretty quick, so it's there. I would say if you are, these are just the ones we found industry-wise. There's quite a few that are available for artists as well. If you are in an industry that has an association, which most of them do, I would recommend going out to that association and see if they do already have something like this up or if they're planning to. So if you hadn't thought about that, we are starting to see these very specific industry relief funds. Again, nothing that's going to completely save your business, $500, $1,000, but at this point, anything helps. So would recommend that you go and look at that as well.
Can you pop
The last
the
link,
James
oh,
Beard,
go ahead.
can you pop the James Beard link back up just for a second?
Yep, there you go. Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of questions. If you apply for the EIDL and receive the 10K advance, and then you're approved for more than that, is the advance still a grant if you decline the additional amount that you're approved for?
From what I've read, yes. It says in the verbiage that that you could potentially receive that advance even if you're denied. That is what I've read. So to my understanding, even if you do not take the additional loans, you are not going to have to repay the cash advance. Again, that's my understanding at this given time.
Okay. And then is debt owed considered a loan when you're filling in your information in the application?
Debt
Like a line of
owed,
credit. It says a line of credit.
a line of credit. Yeah, a line of, I mean, if you're that does not, it does not ask you that on the EIDL on the first part of the application. But if you're talking about some supplemental documents, if you have line of credit that you have pulled any funds down on, so if you have $100,000 line of credit and you have pulled down 40,000 of that, yes, that would be considered debt owed if it's asking for debt information. If I understand that question correctly.
We're a nonprofit and some of our staff are paid by a grant. Do we submit partial payroll for that staff or do we submit all payroll, even what's paid by the grant funding?
I would assume, I know that what's paid by the grant, if you've been able to sustain that grant, you have that grant, that is not something that's going to be forgivable. When you're with your lender, from what I'm seeing on what they're doing, they have like your payroll costs, and then they have what they need to deduct that's not going to be something that's forgivable. And for a nonprofit, I would assume they would take all your payroll, then you would have to tell them what portion is paid for by the grant and would subtract that out.
Okay, that's all for now. Thank you.
Okay, well, we're pretty much done anyway. I've got this just quick link here. Obviously right now, if you are not able to actually be functioning in any capacity due to the current pandemic, you know, we always say that as business owners, we don't have time to work on our business because we're busy working in our business. So we are here for you from the Small Business Development Center, to help you strategize if you are still open, how you can potentially change your business model to help get some revenue in. But then also, if you're not, we are helping provide resources on maybe some things that you could be doing right now to help strategize for your business in the future. This non-financial resources guide that I put up here, these are just some free tools that are out there that companies are have free for, you know, the next, you know, couple of months during this time. A lot of it's video conferencing, but there's a lot of marketing benefits as well, like Hootsuite is offering free subscription. So just kind of wanted to put this up if you're trying to find new tools to either work remotely, or if you're trying to find new tools as you're trying to ramp up and add new processes into your current business model, because you have some time to kind of sit down and analyze how you're operating. There might be some things here that you would want to use that have no cost to them at this given time. And speaking of that, I explained earlier that we do have different offices around the state. We do have 10 different offices. I know that various different offices are offering some online webinars. We in the West Central office, so you can actually just follow us on Facebook. It's West Central Indiana Small Business Development Center. We are putting on some webinars that we're actually recording 2 today. One is going to be an online audit. So again, if you kind of have some idle time on your hands and want to be productive within your business, it's going to be some strategies to kind of look at your digital footprint and make sure that you've enhanced that. And we're also doing one on standard operating procedures. So if you've always known you kind of need to get SOPs in place, haven't really had time, this might be a great time to sit back and look how you're operating and get those documented. So we'll be doing some webinars on those types of things as well, that you can follow us on our Facebook page. That's it. So if you have other questions, Chelsea, I'm happy to help you to try and answer them.
Okay, if anybody else has additional questions, please submit them at this time. And then I have one right now. It says, I got a confirmation number after applying yesterday, but did not get an email confirmation. Should we reapply or have concern that our application didn't go through?
No, if you got the confirmation number, then your application went through.
Okay, and I would also add check your spam because I know those have gone to spam.
Yeah, and then your loan officer should be getting in touch with you for additional documentation.
Okay, and then could you put the Facebook page back up?
Like about the Facebook grant, that way.
There you go.
Okay.
And somebody else is asking for the Beauty Association link.
Oh. And this will be, all these links are hyperlinked, so as soon as Chelsea gets this out to participants, you will have that.
Okay, this one says, just confirming we should email mmote@isbdc.org to get more additional resources and funding information, not our local ISBDC office question mark.
Okay, sorry, to clarify that, no. If you are wanting to get more information about things and have a counselor working with you that you can get more up-to-date information, you do want to work with your local SBD office. So if you've not already, if you don't already have a counselor, you just go to isbdc.org and then go to the locations tab, and by county, find your location, and then you can request counseling services there. The request for Megan Moats, which is mmoats@isbc.org, was just, if you go to that Excel document that we have, that we are updating with things like the PBA relief fund. If you've seen something with your industry, again, we feel like we're all in this together. So if you see something that we maybe have not seen yet, we are asking that if you want to send that to Megan, she'll get it on there, and other businesses then might be aware of it. But if you personally need additional help or resources, you will go to your local small business development center.
Okay. That is all of the questions that have come in. So I think we are all set.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. And again, please go to the SBA.gov. All of the documentation is there and should hopefully make these things more clear for you.
And again, thank you so much for everyone who's been participating throughout this week. We are offering that one-on-one help, coaching, and consultation. And if that's something that you need, and if you want to talk to us one-on-one, please let us know. We have people ready and waiting to talk to you. So if you're having trouble signing up to meet with us, then please just shoot us an email and we're happy to help you troubleshoot with that process. Tomorrow at noon, we will be chatting with M Accounting about other additional lending resources that are available, payroll and tax implications, and cash flow planning. I think that'll be a really beneficial session. So please join in if you are interested in learning about that. M Accounting has been a great partner for small businesses, so I think it'll be a really informational session. So we look forward to talking to you all tomorrow and talking to you via our one-on-one coaching sessions. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day, everyone.